Welcome to the 6th video in Unity Enemy Creation series. In this video, the arrow will hit the dragon, then the dragon will respond by either playing the get hit animation or dying. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to our dragon in the hierarchy over here, and we want to add a component called a collider, box collider. Here we go. And we want to make that the right size, so let's have a look at it. So if we click on it, we can kind of see the box collider there in the green. And what we want to do, whoops, let's have a look at that again. There we go. Click on that. We just drag it and pull it out so it's bigger, so that it kind of fills where the dragon is. So we can just go around and check that it is the right size for everything. I'm making my box collider about that size. It's quite big, so that it's going to, we could actually do a really fine mesh to check the right size, but for the moment, we'll do it just this big. There we go. There's our box collider, and we want to make it an is trigger. And this is very important that it is a trigger, because when we shoot through that trigger, then we want it to respond. So now, on top of that, we want to add a component, and we're going to call this dragon. New script called dragon. We want to click on these three dots down here. Once it's compiled that script, click on that and edit the script, and this is where the script is. So we want to get rid of the update and the start, so let's just delete all of those. And we want to actually have a public health variable, right? And that public health variable needs to be able to be seen, so it needs to be public. So public int health. And we'll give that a value. We'll say that that is equal to 100 straight away. Okay. What we want to do is we want to actually get a public animator. And that's the start, that's the setting up of our thing, of our script. So now we're going to go public void, and this void is going to be take damage. And it's going to have an int damage amount. And then of course we've got the brackets. Okay, so inside of here, if health is less than 0, then we want to run a animation. So we're going to run the animation of death. Okay, so we're going to run the death animation. And in this case, instead of running it, we're going to trigger the death animation. Else is we're going to trigger the damage animation. Up here, we're going to take some damage. So health is equal to, or is minus equal to, damage amount. So let's go over to our triggers over here in our animator. Let's go over here, and we're going to call this one die. So we'll go trigger. It's a new way of doing it. And we're going to call this die exactly the same way as we spelled it inside that code. And we're going to add another one, add another trigger. Click on that die. And this one we're going to call damaged. Okay. So now if we were to add a die animation and a damaged animation up here, we could go from any state. So this would mean that at any point when it's going through this, if it gets hit, it will either do the damaged or run the damaged animation, or it'll run the die animation. So let's have a look at our animations for the Dragon Nightmare. And we've got die over here, so we just drag that up here. And we have got get hit over here. And that is there. And we can have a look at those ones if you'd like. And you can see if I run that, there's die. And if I click on get hit, there it is. It's die. We don't want to loop that one, because once it's dead, it's dead. And we don't want to loop the die, because once it's once it gets hit, We don't want to loop the die or the get hit animation. We want to do it just once. So we're going to create a transition from any state. So let's go make transition from any state to get hit and make transition from any state to die. And this one, if you click on here, this one will be to do with the get hit. So we need to trigger the damaged one. And this one will be to do with the die. So we need to trigger the die one. Okay. And once we get hit, what we do want to do is we want it to go over to the attacking one straight away without transitioning. It would just transition there without actually having any other kind of conditions. Once it's hit, it wants to attack. So we make a transition from here to here. So we don't need to change this at all. So let's have a look at our script again. So this is our dragon. And we want to actually trigger the die animation here. And we want to trigger the damage animation here. So the way we do that is we go Animator dot set trigger, open brackets, and die in this case. So that will actually run the die animation at that point. And down here, if we go Animator dot set trigger, and which one? Damaged. Okay. We want to add this little, we want to add these semicolons in here. And then what we do want to do is we want to get component collider enabled to be false. And what that will do is when it dies, it will take away the box collider, which means that we can't shoot it anymore. And if we were to shoot it, it probably would actually run the damaged animation. But if we do this, it won't actually run that damaged animation. Now let's go to the arrow script. In the arrow script, we've got destroy game object and we've got destroy get component rigid body. What we want to now do is we want to create a public damage amount. So public int damage amount. And we'll make this equal to 20 at this stage. And then what we want to do is when we actually shoot the arrow through the collider of the dragon, we want to actually set up a little code down here. So on the trigger enter, we want to go like this: if other dot tag is equal to dragon. Now, what I have done is I have set up a little tag for the dragon. If we have a look over here, let's go to the dragon. I've set up this little tag for the dragon by adding tag, calling it dragon, and clicking it in there. You'll notice how it's got a capital D. So to do that, we just add tag, click on there, and put the new name in. I'm not going to do that at the moment because I've already got it there. So we can see that I have tagged this dragon up here as a dragon. So let's have a look at our code again. So I'm looking for the tag dragon. And what am I going to do then? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform the parent, which will equal to other dot transform, and then I'm going to other get component. And what is that component? It's the dragon. And with that, I'm going to take damage. And what is that? It's going to be the damage amount, which is that 20 up here. So press tab. There we go. So what this means is this arrow now goes through and will actually grab the dragon and give it a take damage amount. And let's have a look at what our errors are here. We've got an expected thing here in our dragon script. Let's have a look at that. That's at line 33. Yeah, there it is. There we go. And let's have a look in the arrow script. So let's just save that. In the arrow script, cannot do it to bull 19 dragon. In the arrow script, just going to select that. If other dot tag Oh yes, that's the problem. Tag is equal to, so it's a double equals. That's what was the problem there. Dragon. That should fix that. Yep, it's fixed it over here. Okay, we save that again. Let's run it. What we can see here is down here that the dragon now has a health of 100. Okay, but we've still got something else we've got to do. We've got to grab this animator and drag it into here. So let's just drag that down into there, and we've got Nightmare Dragon Animator. Good. Now let's run it now this time. Okay, I'm going to shoot the. Yep, it's gone down 80. See how he's been hit. And 40, 20, and now he dies. That's the end of this video.